Let's talk about The Last Duel, which was funny. Last time I talked about this, some people got very upset. How dare he talk about this movie? Well, I'm going to talk about it again and how it was a colossal failure. This is how much money it made. 28 million, almost 29 million. Now, the funny thing about this movie is that it had a budget of 100 million from what I understand. So this is terrible. This is the definition of a colossal flop. It's terrible. We're going to get into why it flopped again in a second. But the reason I'm even talking about this is because Ridley Scott, the director of the movie, decided to go on a podcast and whine and complain and blame millennials for not going to see the movie, which I find absolutely hilarious because he did everything he could to try to get millennials on social medias interested in his movie, and I'm going to show you why. But first, let's go over what the man said. Not that long of an article. So he went on a podcast called WTF, and the gentleman that runs it said he was impressed with his two pictures, The Last Duel and House of Gucci. I don't know anything about House of Gucci, but The Last Duel, I do. So we'll get to that. When it arrived exclusively in theaters on late October 20th Century's The Last Duel, starring Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Jodie Comer, and Ben Affleck, it made, they say, 27 million off a 100 million budget, which is not totally accurate because, as you can see here at Box Office Mojo, it almost made 29 million. So a little off, but it's a colossal failure because you got to also take in the marketing, which isn't a part of that. It costs 100 million to make, and Disney did promote this film. They promoted it quite well, and Ridley Scott actually thanks them for that. Says he said Disney acquired Fox Studio. He was concerned that Disney would undersell the graphic film, but that was not the case. Disney did a fantastic promotion job. Scott said on the podcast, the bosses loved the movie. I was concerned it was not for them. He then goes on to blame millennials. I think what it boils down to, what we've got today, are the audiences who were brought up on these effing cell phones. The millennium do not ever want to be taught anything unless you're told it on a cell phone, Scott said. This is a broad stroke, but I think we're dealing with it right now with Facebook, Scott added. This is a misdirection that has happened where it's given the wrong kind of confidence to this last generation, I think. Scott said he stood firmly by The Last Duel, and the decision-making process at the studio was solid throughout. That's the call you make, he said, of his undertaking the project. That's the call Fox made. We all thought it was a terrific script. We made it. You can't win all the time. I've never had one regret on any movie I've ever made. I don't know about that, Scott. You should go back and watch Prometheus. That movie sucks. Nothing I learned very early on to be your own critic. The only thing you should really have an opinion on is what you just did. Walk away, make sure you're happy, and don't look back. That's me. It sounds like you're kind of salty. So he basically says nobody wanted to watch his movie because they would rather learn about it on a cell phone. First off, okay, your movies aren't historically accurate. All right, as much as I like them, especially Gladiator. Gladiator is one of my favorite movies. That movie is not historically accurate at all. Neither is that other movie he made that I liked. I think it's called The Last Kingdom. I'm probably wrong on that, but it's basically about Jerusalem falling, and that movie isn't historically accurate at all. It's a good movie. The director's cut is a good movie. You need to watch the director's cut, but you don't learn shit watching a Ridley Scott movie other than it's a good spectacle. But I don't think that hurts the movie. It's as long as the movie's good, the movie's good. The problem here was the marketing of the movie, which he doesn't talk about at all. And it's the reason I didn't see the movie. Now, to be fair, I want to point out it seems audiences liked this movie. As you can see, 1,000 plus, it's at 81%. So it might be a good movie. I didn't go see it, though. And I'm not the only one that didn't go see it. As you can tell by the box office is extremely pathetic. But like I said in my last video that I made on this, by the way, Gladiator 2, why are you making this? Don't do this. Stupid idea. Like I said in my last video, the reason I didn't go see this movie wasn't because I didn't want to learn about it in the theater and read about it on a cell phone, Mr. Out of Touch Ridley Scott. The reason I didn't go see your fucking movie is because all of the promotion on the movie is how it takes down toxic masculinity and feminism is the main theme of the movie, and gender roles of the medieval era. People love medieval movies. The fact that Game of Thrones was so damn popular should tell you that people love medieval time period movies, especially if they're done right. In my opinion, the reason this movie failed miserably is because of the marketing of the movie. The marketing for this movie was awful. And we know people will go to the movies now. That whole coof excuse, that ain't flying, man, because the fact that a lot of these movies are making from 40 to, 80 to $100 million on their opening weekends should tell you right there. This movie could have made its money, but instead, they decided to promote it as a woke movie, which from what I hear, it's not. It's good. Okay, so I might maybe watch it when it comes out on demand or something. But I didn't want to go sit for it. This movie is probably almost 3 hours. I don't want to go sit through a movie about toxic masculinity, lectures and shit like that. 14th century knights succumb to toxic masculinity in The Last Duel. Film review. The Last Duel mixes a critique of misogyny with period action. The Last Duel tackles 14th century gender roles. The Last Duel examines toxic masculinity and misogyny. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon say The Last Duel is a feminist movie. That's your 2 stars of the movie. Toxic masculinity in a medieval world. Here's the New York Times. The Last Duel review. A medieval epic in the age of #MeToo. Bleeding Cool. The Last Duel review. Why men need to put their swords away. Ben Affleck describes The Last Duel as a feminist movie. This is horrible marketing. And it's killed so many movies. The one that I can really drum up and talk about is Birds of Prey. That movie tried to market itself as a feminist movie. Bombed at the box office. The Last Duel did the same thing. So, Ridley Scott, don't run around and talk about how it's because millennials didn't want to see your medieval movie. Medieval movies do pretty well, actually. People love that shit. The problem the movie had was that your actors were running around talking about how it fights sexism, and the media wasn't helping you out either. And I would imagine if I really dug into this, I could find Ridley Scott saying the same shit that Ben Affleck and them are saying. But I don't want to spend that much time in a video where I'm already closing on 8 minutes. I don't need to because I've found enough media talking about it. The movie was promoted as a feminist, toxic masculinity-hating movie, which turned me off to seeing it. That's the reason I didn't go see the movie, 100%. That's the reason I didn't see that movie, and it's the reason I don't know if I ever want to watch that movie. Now, like I said, the Rotten Tomatoes are positive for it, so maybe it isn't. But how am I supposed to know that when everyone attached to the movie is running around talking about how woke it is? It doesn't really get people excited to go see your movie. Sorry. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you watched the movie, I'm interested to hearing what you have to say, what your thoughts on it are. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel, usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out.